Hello all, welcome to the bite-sized learning course on General Fire Safety. This course is brought to you by BCA Academy. The copyright of the materials belongs to BCA Academy, and no parts of these materials can be reproduced without the permission of BCA Academy. Learning objectives. After attending this course, you will be able to explain why fire occurs, the various types of combustible materials and where they can be normally found, liberation, accumulation, and hazards of gases. Liberation means releasing and accumulation means building up. You will learn of gases which can be released and build up to form a dangerous situation. You will also learn the source of ignition, that is heat, as well as the procedures for fire emergency and the steps to operate a fire extinguisher. At the end of the training session, you will have a guided quiz. You can keep a notebook and pen with you to take some notes and prepare for quiz now. Let's look at the fire triangle. For fire to occur, three elements are needed together. They are fuel, heat, and oxygen. So if you want to extinguish a fire, just take out one of the three elements. For example, if you saw a fire on the bed, you can remove the heat with a water or dry powder extinguisher and thus extinguish the fire. For a fire to burn, it will need fuel. So let us look at the different types of combustible materials which form one side of the fire triangle. You can see that combustible materials can be separated into three types: solid materials, liquid fuel, and gas. Solid materials are those like timber, papers, plastic, and cloth, which can be easily found in your living quarters. Next is liquid fuel, which are petrol, diesel, kerosene, and turpentine. Diesel and turpentine can sometimes be found in the work site. Next on the bottom of the circle is the gas, which comprises liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, oxygen, and acetylene. Oxygen and acetylene are used in the work site for gas. We have just learned on the different types of combustible materials. Now we look at the areas where these materials can be found. As shown in the picture, the flammable liquids should be properly stored in specific flammable storage area to prevent any fire accident. Housekeeping should be properly maintained, otherwise debris will be accumulated on the floor and outside the disposable container and will cause a fire. Hence, housekeeping in the work site is important. One important point to take note is the litteration, which means releasing, and accumulation, which means build-up of flammable gas, paper. Gases sometimes can be found in these areas, and it is extremely important not to smoke or perform hot works inside or near these storage areas. If not, a fire or an explosion may occur. We have learned the different types of combustible materials, the common areas where they are found, and the danger of released gas. Now we touch on the ignition source where the heat generated can cause a fire. For example, you can see for the two pictures that sparks of overheating could occur if the wirings were improperly done and the electrical sockets were overloaded. Hence, it is important to have certified personnel to do the electrical works at the work site. Other source of ignition could come from smoking, lightning strike, or static electricity. Now we will introduce the classification of fire and the types of extinguisher to fight the fire. There are mainly 4 classes of fire: Class A, B, C, and Class D. Class A fire involves common materials such as wood, paper, and cloth. If you encounter such fire, water, dry chemicals, and carbon dioxide extinguishers are recommended to fight this type of fire. Class B fire are those flammable liquids: solvents, oils, paints, thinner, and liquefiable. It is recommended to use carbon dioxide, dry chemicals, and foam to extinguish the fire. Flammable gas belongs to the Class C fire, and the extinguisher recommended for this class of fire are clean agent, dry chemicals, and carbon dioxide. Clean agent is a type of extinguishing materials that is electrically non-conducting and does not leave a residue upon evaporation. Class D fire involves combustible metals such as magnesium, titanium, zirconium, and sodium. Special dry powder or extinguisher approved for use on that specific combustible metal is to be used. So far, we have covered the topics on combustible materials, the danger of gases, the source of ignition, and different types of extinguisher for different fire. Now we will learn how to respond in the event of a fire emergency. First, do not panic when you see a fire. Activate the fire alarm and inform your fellow workers to evacuate. Inform your supervisor immediately. Try to use the nearest firefighting equipment to put out the fire if you are trained. If the fire becomes too big, leave the area and call for emergency service if it has not been activated. It sounds simple, right? But you must maintain calm in this situation. Small fire can be put out at the early stage, but you should leave the area if the fire becomes too big to control. For firefighting, we need to know how to use an extinguisher effectively. So now let us look at these simple steps to use an extinguisher. It is easy to remember how to use a fire extinguisher if you can remember PASS, P-A-S-S, which stands for pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So for step 1, pull out the safety pin of the fire extinguisher. Next, aim low at the base of the fire. Then, squeeze the handle. Do a sweeping motion to put out the fire. Remember not to stand in the direction of the smoke when using the fire extinguisher, as the smoke will choke you. Now let us recap on what we have learned just now with these general guidelines. We must control the source of ignition so that there is no heat source to start a fire. Next, we keep or store the flammable materials away from the heat source. We have to ensure electrical power point and equipment are in good condition so that they do not cause the fire to break out. It is important not to overload electrical sockets with too many charges or plugs, especially in your living quarters. Remember to do housekeeping constantly or at the end of the day to clear away unwanted materials. Lastly, get trained in using a fire extinguisher, as in case you discover a fire, you can put it out at the early stage. We are coming to the end of the course. So are you ready to take a short quiz now? Question 1. Which are the three elements in the fire triangle? A. Petrol, heat, and nitrogen. B. Fuel, heat, and oxygen. C. Wood, petrol, and oxygen. D. Initial source, petrol, and air. I give you some time for you to think. Question 2. Which is not a good practice to prevent fire at a site? A. Do welding works near drums of diesel. B. Maintain all electrical equipment and cables well. C. Do good housekeeping of materials and keep the heat source away. D. Keep fire extinguishers and get trained to use them. Again, I'll give you some time for you to think and find the answer. The answer for question 1 is B. Fuel, heat, and oxygen, which are the three elements of the fire triangle. Answer for question 2 is A. Do welding works near drums or diesel is not a good practice, as welding is a heat source and the diesel might catch fire if the hot pieces of welding sparks drop on it. Hope you got all the answers correct. Congratulations! You can watch this learning video again to refresh the lesson and try the quiz again if you have any incorrect answers. Hope you have enjoyed the lesson. You can continue learning other topics by clicking links in the cover page. Let's keep learning. Bye for now.